Today, we're going to be talking about the unexpected, most overlooked surprises that come up in retirement and affect the success of your income in retirement. Today, we're here with Peter Kitzerow, the author of You Are Smart Enough, and we're looking at Chapter 8, of which, in a world of acronyms, LMK, YOLO, you came up with an acronym yourself. Why don't you go ahead and explain that for us, Peter?
Thanks so much for having me back again today, Rob. And, I've been doing this for a long time, and there are many elements to a financial plan that people typically put in, and some of which they gloss over. In other words, they have different levels of importance. The important ones are, how much interest am I going to earn on my savings? What is it going to cost me to live? And how much am I going to have to pay in tax? And one of them is healthcare. And so you might think, well, gee, I'm going to have Medicare or I have hospitalization insurance. No. What I'm talking about is what happens when you need help with those 6 activities of daily living that if you can't do them for yourselves, like bathing, toileting, transferring, dressing, feeding yourself, and cognitive impairment, if you can't do those yourself, you're either going to need somebody to come help you at home, or you're going to need assisted living, or your worst case, a nursing home. And people are really shell-shocked when I tell them just to be in an assisted living facility in the Houston area, as an example. And this is 3 years old, this data. It was $7,000 a month to be. Nobody ever puts an extra $7,000 a month into their retirement budget. And those are the same people that also don't buy long-term care insurance to pay for it. So the H part of HITS is really to foster awareness that, hey, this is something you really ought to be okay. So
and
the
if you live where I do here in Southern California, that's $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month, okay.
And then the statistic that I looked up as I read your book, did a little bit of research, long-term care, just a plan, not even the product itself. We look at insurance. We're all required to have homeowners insurance. If you have a mortgage, we're required to have auto insurance. Do you know that what the statistic for the probability of being in a car accident is in the low 20%, where you'll need the insurance? Except for in long-term care, the average in the country of people who will need long-term care, 76%.
That's the downside to getting older or being able to live longer, is that you may be alive, but everything doesn't work as well as it should. Right. And you're probably going to need some help with that. So thank you so much for those current statistics. When it comes to the I part of HITS, inflation, for 15 years now, everybody has sort of paid lips. Oh yeah, inflation this, inflation that. Why? Because we haven't experienced any until now. Right now, we're experiencing it at a level it hasn't been in 40 years. And so all of a sudden, inflation is going to be a whole lot more relevant in people's plans. So that's the I part of HITS. T is for taxes. We talk about it in the book quite a bit and other chapters, but you know what? You can't talk about it enough. We have a government that is spending money like it's free money. Well, it's free to them. It's not free to us, but they're spending money like crazy, which is causing this thing called the national debt to escalate to levels where very soon, we will not produce enough value in this country on an annual basis just to pay the interest on all that debt. So the choices, the solutions to that are going to be to raise taxes dramatically or to print a whole lot more money, which will cause a problem on the I part, which will raise inflation. So taxes are probably going to be the way it's going to go. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it wasn't all that long ago in this country where taxes were 76%, and not all that long before that where they were, and most people won't believe this, 96%. 96%. So
World War II.
Today at our level of 37%, we're way under the historical average. So we took care of H, and we took care of I, and we took care of T for taxes. The last one are surprises. And surprises are those things that, as the name indicates, you never expect to be in your plan. So I usually just talk about this, but recently I'm experiencing it because there are good surprises and bad surprises. A good surprise is when your daughter calls you, like mine did, and said, Daddy, she still calls me Daddy.
When she wants money.
I'm going back to work and we need somebody to watch Campbell, my grandson, 4 days a week. Will you and Mommy be able to do that for us? So my grandson spends 4 days a week with my wife and I, and we get to be part of his life. And that's wonderful. That's a good surprise. A bad surprise is when your daughter calls you and says, Dad, I'm getting divorced and my 3 kids and I need to come live with you. Or God forbid, my husband passed away and we need to come live with you. And so now you have all of that financial burden on the top. So there are good surprises and bad surprises. I hope you only have good ones. But that's what the H.I.T.S deals with in the book. Those things that you're typically not planned for and perhaps unexpected.
Yeah, and it's super helpful too. As I read chapter 8, it makes me realize, although your typical financial advisor will help you with returns and diversification from market volatility and risk, but so many financial advisors don't get paid to cover these issues.
Right.
And so it is helpful to see that you're very committed to making this a priority, that when working with the people you work with, that these things are going to get addressed in your effort to put together a plan that prepares for, what is it again? Healthcare,
inflation, taxes, and surprises.
All right.
The best thing I could say about it in closing is, people love to listen to music. And a piece of music doesn't have just one note in it. It has all of the notes, and they're combined and they're orchestrated to make it pleasing to your ear. A well thought out financial plan is going to hit all of those different bases in a fashion that's going to be just right for you.
It's perfect. And appreciate, again, you know how to take complex issues and make them easy to understand, which does make me feel smarter. So if you'd like to learn more, a real easy read. A chapter took me only about 5 minutes, and you do make those issues simple, so I appreciate that.
2 cups of coffee, you'll get through the book.
That's about right. So thank you very much. Where can people get resources if they want to learn more about your book or get the book itself? Where can they go?
So a couple of ways. They can go to Amazon if they need to get their hands on the actual book right away, and you just look it up under my name, and you can order it right off of Amazon. They'll have it to you right away. I believe there's a link down at the bottom of this video where you can either schedule a call with me, and at the end of that call, I'll be happy to send you a copy. Or if you just like to download the chapter that we're talking about today, you'll be able to get your hands on that chapter right away.
Outstanding. Always giving the best resources out. I appreciate what you do in serving the community. We need more people like you. So Peter, thank you very much. And thank
you, Rob.